Gunsmoke, Book 1, Chapter 6, Reed Survives. The sun rose over Dodge like it didn't trust itself to shine. A pale light spread across the plains, turning the prairie grass silver, then gold, then dust again. The air smelled of burnt coffee, cold iron, and the kind of peace that never lasted past breakfast. Marshal Matt Dillon stood on the boardwalk, watching the day build itself from silence. Dodge was still half asleep, the saloon shutters closed, the blacksmith's hammer quiet, the only sound the slow creak of a sign chain above the marshal's door. Behind him, Chester rattled with a broom that didn't have the heart for sweeping. "Mr. Dillon," Chester said, "you ever notice the quieter it gets, the worse it feels?" "Yeah," Matt said. "That's because quiet's what comes right before trouble decides to talk." And as if the world had been waiting for its cue, a rider appeared on the horizon, hunched, bleeding, and barely hanging on. The stranger at the edge of town. By the time the rider reached Main Street, he was swaying in the saddle, hat gone, shirt torn, one arm bound tight with a rag soaked dark red. The horse was spent, but loyal enough to bring him home, wherever home was. Matt stepped down from the boardwalk, caught the reins as the man started to fall. He caught him just in time. "Easy there," Matt said. "You're hurt bad." The man's eyes opened, blue, wild, full of ghosts. He tried to speak, but only managed one word: "Reed." And then he collapsed. Doc's table inside Doc Adams' office, the smell of alcohol and old sweat mixed with urgency. Doc barked orders that nobody dared question. "Hold him still, Chester. You're no use if you faint." "I ain't gonna faint," Chester said, though he already looked halfway there. Matt stood by the window, watching the rain clouds gather outside like uninvited company. When Doc finally looked up, his hands were red but steady. "Bullet in the shoulder, missed the bone by a whisper. He'll live, if he wants to." Matt nodded. "Name's Reed," said it himself. Doc froze, wiping his hands. "Reed? Eli Reed?" Matt's eyes narrowed. "You know him?" Doc nodded slowly. "Everybody in Kansas knows him. Outlaw. Used to ride with the Kershaw gang before the war. Killed a marshal in Abilene 6 years ago." Chester gasped. "The one they said got burned up in that barn fire?" "That's the one," Doc said grimly. "Guess he didn't burn enough." A past that won't stay buried by evening, Reed had come to. He woke under a thin blanket, face pale but eyes alive, the kind that have seen the edge and backed away from it. Matt sat across the room, arms crossed, studying him. "You remember me?" Matt asked. "Never saw you before," Reed said, "but I heard your name." "Dodge Marshal. Fair. Dangerous. Some say both." Matt didn't smile. "You've been gone a long time, Reed." "The world changed." Reed chuckled weakly. "World don't change, Marshal. Just gets meaner in different places." He winced, clutching his shoulder. "I wasn't looking for trouble. Got ambushed south of the Cimarron by 2 men I used to ride with. Guess they thought I was still worth robbing." Matt's tone softened. "You saying you're done with the old life?" Reed nodded. "Been done 3 years, working a ranch in Texas, trying to stay straight." He paused. "Didn't work." Whispers in Dodge word traveled faster than wind in Dodge. By morning, every poker table and porch had a story. "Eli Reed's alive." The name rolled through town like bad weather, exciting and unwelcome. At the Long Branch, Kitty listened quietly as men talked. "Reed's a killer," one said. "Maybe once," another replied. "Maybe folks can change." "Not in this town," the first man muttered. Kitty looked toward the window, where the street lay still and bright. She thought about Matt, about how tired his eyes had looked lately, like a man carrying other people's sins because his own were too few to keep him busy. Justice or mercy? That afternoon, Matt walked into Doc's office. Reed was sitting up, pale but stubborn. "You'll hang if Abilene finds out you're alive," Matt said. "They won't," Reed replied. "You can't run forever." "I ain't running. I'm just trying to live quiet." Matt looked at him for a long time. "You killed a marshal once." "I know," Reed said, "and I've been paying for it every day since." His voice was low now, almost a whisper. "I didn't mean to kill him. It was dark. I thought he was one of Kershaw's men. He was younger than me. Had a wife Matt didn't answer. He'd buried enough men to know the truth was never clean. The choice." By nightfall, a telegram arrived from Abilene. Matt read it by lamplight. Eli Reed confirmed wanted for murder. Stop reward. Still active. Stop deliver dead or alive. He folded it carefully. Doc was watching him. "What are you going to do?" "Don't know yet," Matt said. That night, he didn't sleep. He sat by the window, watching the moonlight crawl across the empty street. He thought of men he'd killed, men he'd saved, and how sometimes the difference between the two was just a second and a decision. The mob morning brought trouble, as it always did. A group of townsmen gathered outside the office, drunk, loud, and armed with courage they'd borrowed from each other. "We heard you got Reed in there," one shouted. "He's a murderer, Marshal. He don't deserve no trial." "You let him live, and he'll kill again," another yelled. Matt stepped out slowly, hand resting on his holster. "You boys had breakfast yet?" he said calmly. "Ain't hungry," the first man snapped. "Then you got no reason to start shooting before lunch." Laughter rippled through the crowd, uneasy but real. Matt's eyes hardened. "Eli Reed's under my protection until the judge says otherwise. You want him? You go through me." The silence that followed was long enough for everyone to hear their own hearts beating. Then the crowd thinned, one man at a time. Shame is heavier than bullets. The escape. That night, the door creaked open. Matt turned, gun drawn. But it wasn't Reed trying to run. It was Reed standing beside the bed, hat in hand, weak but steady. "I'm leaving, Marshal." "You'll hang if they catch you." "Then I'll hang. But I won't have you get killed defending me." He walked to the door, swaying slightly. Matt didn't stop him. He just said quietly, "You gave your word you'd changed. Keep it." Reed looked back once. "I will, Marshal. That's the only thing I've got left to keep. The ride out." By dawn, he was gone. Tracks leading north, faint in the dust. Matt found the note on his desk. "Tell the law I survived, but tell the world I'm trying to deserve it." He folded it and put it in his vest pocket. He didn't tell anyone. Some truths live better in silence. At noon, Doc stormed in. "He's gone, ain't he?" "Yeah." "And you let him?" "Didn't have the heart not to." Kitty entered quietly, holding 2 cups of coffee. "You think he'll make it?" she asked. "Don't know," Matt said. "But he's riding the right way for once." The aftermath days passed. Life in Dodge returned to its usual rhythm. Lies told, whiskey poured, justice tested. But every time a rider appeared on the horizon, Chester would glance up, half expecting Eli Reed to come back. He never did. But the rumor spread anyway. A man fitting his description seen near Santa Fe, working honest, keeping quiet. And that was enough for Matt Dillon. Closing monologue. Out here, men don't get redemption, just a little more time to try for it. The prairie don't care who you were, only who you are when the sun comes up. Eli Reed rode away a wanted man, and maybe died that way, but for one night in Dodge City, he was something better, a man worth believing in, and for Marshal Matt Dillon, that was enough. End of Chapter 6. Reed survives.